the most magical podcast on earth. Joining me, I have Alexis Soto, all the way down from New Orleans. Just kidding. That would be a great time. I was actually contemplating sometime either within the next 2 years, New Year. I was like, maybe I'll have enough money saved and all that stuff. I want to do a big Louisiana trip during Mardi Gras. But alas, things can't come to fruition for whatever circumstances that we have. And here we have it. You could tell by the title, we are talking about some things, some big splashes.
Oh my God.
Going on in the Disney company. So we're going to talk about the elephant in the room with Splash Mountain. We're going to talk about Margot Robbie joining the Seven Seas. Also, we're going to do some Florida and their bullshit with all the COVID-19 stuff. And then we're also going to do a little bit of Mulan and some unfortunate news from Mulan. So, well, it's kind of unfortunate, kind of just like whatever, because at this point there's going to be like no movies in 2020 that's going to be released, and it looks like there's not going to be any movies for 2021 because this shit ain't going away. So hi, how are you doing? What's up? I as you could tell, I'm in a good mood. I'm in a fucking good mood. Let's do this. First of all, we'll talk about what dropped last week. Unfortunately, we did not do a Fantasy Faire immediate reaction to that because some of us work for a living and would like to have time to talk about these things, but I just can't, Nemo. So here we have it. We're doing it. Splash Mountain is no longer going to be affiliated with one movie called Song of the South. Is going to be completely overhauled by Princess and the Frog. As one could, I guess, telepathically tell by the visual that's behind Alexis Soto. Alexis Soto on the TV behind him has the promo art.
It's a brand new concept art.
Don't know why he's got to be extra, but here we are. With the
Does it help?
Splash Mountain. What are you, Mark Rylance?
I don't know.
Splash Mountain is turning into a Princess and the Frog ride, and both Alexis and I think it's good. Right, Alexis? Right?
Yeah. First of all, hi, Fantasy Faire people. Good to be back with you. How have you been?
Oh, Alexis Soto's with us.
Yes. Yes.
Hi,
everybody.
Hi, Alexis. What's up?
Yeah.
Hey, living.
It's
whatever.
Yeah, it really is. Yeah.
Well, welcome to 2020.
I just wanted to say real
Christ.
quick, Alexis Moreno was supposed to be here tonight, but she's not feeling well, so we're keeping her in our thoughts and prayers and our minds, obviously. But she was excited about a lot of the stuff that we're talking about, so just so we make sure we mention her. Yeah, this is a... Overall, I think this is a win-win situation. And this is the first bit of news in ages that I am completely excited about, especially when it comes to Disney parks. I want to say, though, it is and it isn't. It is shocking, though, because this has been a campaign for years, I want to say, of getting the Princess and the Frog to replace Song of the South as the, IP that it's based on in Splash Mountain. And it was like a match made in Disney Parks fans' heavens and everything. And it wasn't necessarily something that I was expecting Disney to actually do.
Because of Splash Mountain, being that ginormous IP that Disney has under their belt, you know, especially in terms of like the parks and all that. Because like Splash Mountain, you hear that name, you're like, oh, Disney, you know, Disneyland. And you hear that and you automatically associate it with the park and all that stuff. And honestly, like much akin to like Pirates of the Caribbean and Haunted Mansion, Splash Mountain was always there, you know, and you get that sense, you know, and it's become, you know, something grander than the movie that it was based on. It's become its whole new, it has its own community. There's like different, like, you know, sayings, slogans, shirts, you know, whatever merchandise, you know, you could throw out there. I mean, it has its cult following, like, you know, each attraction does, you know, with its own fan base. I mean, there's the Pirates fan base, the Haunted Mansion fan base, and now we have the Splash Mountain fan base. So it was a really touchy subject to like delve into, and somebody, you know, ignited a firework. I don't know if you heard that, but a neighbor threw out a firework. So
oh, really? Because the same thing just happened to me not even a minute ago, like right next door.
Isn't it lovely?
I hate people, you know, I really do. And I hate the people that think that the 4th of July has to be this like month-long like preamble to the actual thing. I really do.
Well, okay, Splash Mountain. Alexis, what do you, before we dive into it, I want to address some things that I think that a lot of like people were complaining. Well, it's not a lot of people, but much like the Last Jedi haters, their voices were louder than the actual people who liked the idea or property or whatever. Is this a reaction to what's going on in the country right now? Yes and no. I think right now they're just like, I think Disney is trying to say, look, we're trying to do better. We want to, you know, show it, but however, it can't be painted as like very patronizing. Oh, look at what we are doing. We are doing, you know, pat themselves on the back like Disney normally does. Of, oh, look, we're finally doing the Princess and the Frog ride, you know, you guys have been wanting. Is this a new concept that they've been developing? In theme park years, no, they've been at this. I mean, there's concept art already. They pretty much have the plot organized already. They have the crew that they're going to be working with already. It has already been in development for the better part of a year to a year and a half already. So this isn't a new thing that Disney is just randomly saying, look, you know, due to what's going on right now, we're just going to, you know, willy-nilly decide, hey, we're doing a Princess and the Frog ride. No, that's not what's going on here. Disney is making a change to something that they had an idea for, and it was shitting.
Oh my God.
Sitting on a shelf for a while.
Oh boy.
And lo and behold, we have Splash Mountain. So we have that. Alexis, anything to say about like reactions that people have had?
It's a lot to say. To the point of what you were just saying, yeah, there's been a little bit of a back and forth about, you know, the announcement of this and how long it's been in development. I feel like the fact that it got announced at this moment is clearly Disney tagging along the rest of, Aunt Jemima getting canceled, or Lady Annabelle changing their name, or Tina Fey taking down episodes of 30 Rock. Like, it's part of the moment. But
the Dixie Chicks are now the Chicks.
The Chicks, yeah. Yeah. So it is part of the moment, and it for whatever they're saying, but that doesn't mean that this was like thrown together in the last like week or so, because that concept art takes time to not only like make but also get the official approval of. And people are saying I saw some chatter on Twitter that in the Imagineering story, when they were focusing on Tony Baxter and Splash Mountain, that there were a little bit of they were hinting at future changes that were coming to Splash Mountain. I don't recall what that was, but they were like lightly hinting at what was coming. So I think you're right that at least for a year, this has been something that's been officially a go. And that is, we got the announcement that Tony Baxter is advising, but the lead Imagineer on this is the same, this woman of color, just to be clear about that, and that also matters, for Imagineers, not many of those around, that also led the development and the project of Mickey and Minnie's Runaway Railway at Disneyland. And I believe also at Disney World, whichever it was. But she's now in charge of the overall. And again, to be clear, it's coming to both California and Florida. Both of the Splash Mountains are getting rethemed to the Princess and the Frog. Kyle, if you can look up her name, that way we can.
That's what I'm doing right now.
Yeah, just so we're clear. I would have it, but then I forgot entirely what it was. But yeah, she's the one who's leading this. And so from like an optic standpoint, it's a wonderful PR move. It really is. And what this whole thing about
her name is, and if I butcher your name, ma'am, I'm sorry. Charita Carter, the senior creative producer leading the project at Walt Disney Imagineering, shared, like Princess Tiana, I believe that courage and love are the key ingredients for wonderful adventures. I am delighted to be a part of bringing this fun-filled experience to our guests. So
obviously. Yeah, she's a rising star, I feel, in Imagineering, because Mickey and Minnie's Runaway Railway was so well received. On all accounts. It was so well received, it's coming to Disneyland Park. I mean, and they don't really hardly anything comes to Disneyland Park per se, unless it's a big theme expansion like Galaxy's Edge. But the reality is this. Before I get into my feelings on it, my personal feelings, I had this conversation with Peter a few days ago about this subject, and I said to him, the way Disney Parks fans are, they would chain themselves to a random park bench in New Orleans Square if there are fans for anything and everything in Disney Parks, lore or whatever have you, and they would cry and complain about the slightest of changes happening. And we have to have this conversation every single time anything changes. Now, mind you, Splash Mountain getting a facelift is a major change, but regardless, what does Walt always say? As long as there's imagination left in the world,
Disneyland will never be complete. And
exactly.
And those who completely detest that is completely detesting what Walt originally wanted for the parks to begin with. I mean, the thing, and also it goes against another thing that he says, around here, we don't look back for very long. We keep moving forward,
Right.
And that, I think that's bare essential Walt. He was always renovating things. He didn't like things being changed. He's kind of like George Lucas, always changing shit. But he did it for the better, and because technology, it advances, and so do the parks, and that's what it's supposed to reflect. For example, Rise of the Resistance. It combined everything that the Imagineers over the years have learned. And you're seeing that come unfold with Rise of the Resistance. However, it's so interesting that they're tacking on what are they going to I'm not interested in the concept of Princess and the Frog. While it's great, I'm more interested to see how they're going to take that story and apply it to this ride. What kind of different technology are they going to test out? Is it just going to be a carbon copy of Snow White's mine train in Florida, or are they going to do something completely new with it? And is they the QE and all, because they're the Q, and they could do so many different things with it that I that's fascinating, I think. And how they did things with the Mickey and Minnie's railway train ride. they have the opportunity to do here. So I think that's really impressive.
Yeah, and again, like I've never really been on the side of like I can't recall being ever upset at anything being changed. Maybe a little disappointed, but again, not necessarily being against it because I do accept that things have to change and we have to move on. Another aspect to it is, of course, the climate that we're in right now with, you know, the racial tensions in this country exploding with the Black Lives Matter protests. Mm-hmm. And I also want to kind of reiterate what Pete Warner, host of The Diz, said earlier today on his program, where he's like, yeah, this can be perceived as Disney cowing to social pressure, but there's nothing wrong with that. There's nothing wrong with that if the goal is to be mindful of attitudes that have clearly changed. And it is problematic. It's come to the point where we've all known it's been problematic, but it's now more of an eyesore than ever that Splash Mountain, one of the signature attractions at the Disney Magic Kingdom parks, is based on an intellectual property that is flamboyantly racist.
Yeah, it's a very, like, the movie itself, like, I've seen the movie, like, a long time ago at daycare of all places.
I never saw it. I never had access to that movie. Never even knew it existed until, like, I was, like, a teenager. Like, what is this movie?
Zippity-doo-dah, zippity-ay. That song was my jam, actually. That song still slaps. But, like, it's very, like, what I remember, it's very white apologetic. Like, it's one thing for whites and black people to be in unity in a movie, and because it's Disney, they're going to do that anyway.
Yeah,
but it's another thing to be completely like, you know, we had this past, but that's okay.
Yeah,
it's not good.
No, it's not. So I mean, I think that point is well made, considering the climate that this is, and I feel like, all right, so let's talk about Tiana being added into Splash Mountain. I could think of no better decision, and speaking personally, as a diehard fan of Splash Mountain. It's one of my top 10 favorite attractions at any Disney park or Disneyland.
Meanwhile, you could check out our attractions episode that we did.
Yeah.
Even though mine is completely out of date, and it's going to be completely out of date until whenever the fuck we get out of this fucking... Okay, I'm getting ahead of myself. Yes, it is one of your favorite attractions.
Mm-hmm.
So, Tiana...
And I think this is... I'm kind of the opposite of that. Like, you'd think that, like, a diehard, like, Splash Mountain fan would be, like, angry at this. No, I love this idea. This is, I think, the best decision that I've been excited about, maybe since Galaxy's Edge, for a multitude of reasons. I love Tiana the character. I love that movie. I love the characters, all of them, and I love the music. And when you read it, and when you think about putting the Princess and the Frog, replacing the Song of the South scenes in it, I think it's a match made in heaven. And if anything, I feel this may be the most organic Disney overlays of classic attractions, and they've been good. I think that's another thing we have to add, though, is this. Every time we have the same story, people get up in arms about a change happening, especially when a ride is being changed. But more or less, they've been radically successful. Mission Breakout was, I mean, whoa, talk about a 180. That ride was so popular to begin with, but Mission Breakout, it was like a renaissance, basically, with that ride and that attraction.
And it gave a lot of people, like... Because it was a completely different vibe. It was not only like a tone. It was a vibe shift that a lot of people had to get over, because it was like going from horror to like action thriller, and you had to completely change that, and they did it really well. The queue, I'm told, even though I've never been on it, is impressive.
You've seen the photos. I remember when the photos came out from Mission Breakout, I shared like 70 photos of the queue because I was so obsessed with it.
The ride mechanics is impressive. I mean, because it was only built for two ways. It was only built for two ways, the Tower of Terror, but to like manipulate it to like do different mechanics with it is also an impressive feat all in itself. And like there's just different things. Galaxy's Edge, while it had a rocky start, at launch bay, it really excelled everybody's expectations in terms of like Rise of the Resistance and like what, making people feel like they're in Star Wars. I mean, Disney, they're the key. What's the word I'm looking for? It's immersion or something like that. And immersive, yeah. And Disney is really known for that. And so like I would trust Disney to like do something about that, and Princess and the Frog is like, it's first of all, it's really, Splash Mountain is like, you spit at freaking Pirates of the Caribbean and you might as well spit on freaking Splash Mountain. You're that close, within parameters of the New Orleans Square. So it's not only that, but like location, very convenient.
Yeah. It really is. When you think about it, it's like, Splash Mountain in many ways can like act as both an extension of New Orleans Square and a great bridge to Critter Country, because it's both those two things. It's like, it is based in New Orleans, story of Tiana, but it also is in the Bayou and the swamp, and that's Critter Country as well. So it's like, I think it's a wonderful addition. And like when you think about let's talk about the ride itself first and what I think about it.
Tell us
the addition.
Tell us, Alexis, what do you think of Splash Mountain?
The addition of the Princess and the Frog is only really, I feel, taking a great attraction and plussing it. And I think it's going to be immensely, maybe immeasurably superior than it currently is. And I'll tell you why. Because in addition to having the same thrills in the sights, you also get to be immersed in a property you actually give a shit about. That's kind of one of the inherent built-in problems with Splash Mountain is I mean, again, and this kind of touches on, pro or anti-intellectual properties in the parks attractions. Okay, putting that to the side. Audiences and theme park goers today have no connection to any of the animatronics or characters in Splash Mountain because they haven't even been exposed to that movie because Disney has done such a good job of trying to destroy literally all of the tapes. So you don't really know the story. You don't really care, except for those audiences who were exposed to it generations ago, basically at this point. So with Tiana and Lewis and Naveen and Mama Odie and Shadow Man being all added in, it's like you're really plussing everything in all of those scenes. And I think we've all seen either on Twitter or on YouTube, fans take stock footage of the ride-through system of Splash Mountain and then slap on some of those beautiful Randy Newman songs from the movie, and it just clicks. It's magic.
Yeah, it's to quote Dr. Banner, it's like I was made for this.
Yeah. Right, yeah. It almost feels that way, And also think about the additions are getting to the outside exterior of the mountain itself is getting a little, because Mama Odie's treehouse basically is being added to the peak of Splash Mountain along with fireflies. And think about this. I feel like the most like clear, obvious enhancement of Splash Mountain with this property is that you now take the biggest flaw of Splash Mountain and you take it into one of its positives. Splash Mountain has never been a nighttime affair, because why would you want to get on a ride that will get you soaked in the cold night? But
and a good portion of Princess and the Frog takes place at night.
Yeah, but think about it. Look, think about how much more beautiful Splash Mountain's going to look like at night with all the fireflies lit up. You know, it's going to be, I think, a nighttime attraction as well now with that IP being added in. I think the mountain will look so much better at night, and it'll attract more of a nighttime affair.
And why stop there? Just convert the Hungry Bear restaurant into Tiana's restaurant. Boom, you got it.
This is where the surrounding area really works in so many ways. Now, again, we have to temper our expectations some, and especially whenever they start construction on this, because, of course, we're in a pandemic and Disney's burning money. With all of this. But in a perfect situation, you have the surrounding areas to enhance the welcoming of Tiana to Splash Mountain. Convert Hungry Bear into Tiana's Place or Tiana's Palace or whatever it's called. You have because Hungry Bear Restaurant literally sits on the water. You have the rivers of America right there. That's exactly how it was like in the movie. Think about how beautiful. You have New Orleans Square right next to you, man. It's so perfect. And then to add on top of that, you got the Mark Twain Riverboat to throw a party in there as well. Like, holy crap, dude, it's like, perfect.
Like, you could have like an hour before Fantasmic and just have a Tiana Mardi Gras. I mean, that would be freaking phenomenal.
Yeah.
You know, and also to address like what I think, change the name of Critter Country. Change it to Pooh Corner. And then
you could do that.
Pooh could have his own little area. Because like you gotta have Pooh in there, you know,
right?
But
yeah,
like,
I don't think that's gonna go away. I mean, for Winnie the Pooh fans who are like scared, like what's gonna happen, no, that's not gonna go away. They're not gonna get rid of Winnie the Pooh. They need that.
I would prefer it to have their own little section called Pooh Corner. Like you see it on the map, and it's just called Pooh Corner, and the Splash Mountain would be an extension of New Orleans Square, so that's just going to be a big New Orleans Square, which was,
and the Hungry Bear if they ever do convert that to Tiana's. So
yeah, you're gonna have 3 big dining areas in New Orleans Square. Also, it's kind of like.
Wow. Yeah, there's a lot of dining areas now in New Orleans Square. Not just the 3 big ones, because you also got like Club 33, Blue Bayou, the Cafe Orleans. There's also the French Market, and of course you're going to add in, if you do, Tiana's Palace. Yeah.
Also, it's kind of like fitting because like that was Walt's favorite area in the park, New Orleans Square.
It's mine. Yeah, I feel like this, besides Main Street, is not my favorite place to just like be at, but like with the addition of this Tiana Splash Mountain and adding that with New Orleans Square, I feel like that like is the last nail in the coffin. Like that is like the best, I feel, themed land at Disneyland Park. Again, I haven't seen Galaxy's Edge yet, so I can't speak to that, right?
Yeah. Wait till we eventually
in 2025.
2026.
Yeah.
You have to think about the 8th wave.
Oh, that's right, the 8th wave. That's right. Yeah.
The 8th wave. I mean, we're approaching the 2nd wave, you know, if we're not already there. So yeah, I think that this is really good. Splash Mountain and Princess the Frog is just like it's a match made in heaven. Like it's kind of like a no shit. Like, why didn't they do this sooner?
I know. But just think about this. How perfect is it? Well, real quick before that, just another two wonderful enhancements. The zippity doodah sequence at the end of the ride. That is the last song, right? At the end of the ride. That whole showroom with, the riverboat and the animatronics, that's gonna be dig a little deeper. That it's just perfect. And then also, while you're going up to be dropped, friends on the other side, are you ready? Are you ready? Are you ready? Like, oh my, and the bump, 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 bump. Oh, the anticipation to that. Like, think about the enhancements to the thrills of this ride. It's so good.
Almost There being added. Also, like, we have confirmed voice casting, already into it. I mean, Jim Cummings is going to come back.
Going down the bayou.
Yeah,
that's perfect.
Going down the bayou. It's kind of cool. Jim Cummings is going to be both in Splash, whatever they call it, and right around the corner you have Pooh and all that stuff. I think that's
so. Is it confirmed they're changing the name of it officially?
I have no idea. All we know is that the overlay is happening.
Right.
Monica Nani Rose, she's gonna return as a Tiana, of course. And then we have Jennifer Lewis, who's gonna come back and do her voice with Mama Odie.
Mama Odie, I love Mama Odie.
Can I get a little Tabasco?
Oh my God, I love that film so much. We should also mention that in the coming weeks, we're going to do for Fantasy Fair an audio commentary on that movie, which we've been, trying to do for a long time, but what better time than right now? But think about this, Kyle. This is, I think, the most remarkable aspect of this change. Disney has been notoriously... I'm not sure if unfair is the right word to use here, but they have been very unforgiving when it comes to films in their vault that have not been box office
darlings. Yeah.
And Princess and the Frog, while a modest, I do believe the studio considered it a disappointment. I think the Princess and the Frog may have had the ultimate comeback in the history of Disney properties in terms of the theme park. A movie that was considered a disappointment from a financial standpoint has now been given the keys to one of the signature mountains at the Magic Kingdom parks.
Yes, and we're of course talking about Space Mountain, because it's a match made in heaven there. No, but it's crazy. Number one, it's crazy how it's taken this long, but yet again, it's like kind of serendipitous because like we're seeing like this huge, grandiose, movement happening in our country right now, and I think that I think it's important, and I think it is important. While Disney may be stroking themselves a little too hard, a little bit, it is a good thing overall.
You basically are taking your most racist intellectual property and replacing it with the first Disney black princess. I mean, you can't ask for a better, fix to this.
Yeah, and it yeah. It's good. I love it. I want to ride it right now.
One thing, though, is they didn't say anything about Tokyo Disneyland's Splash Mountain.
Because they're freaking racist.
No, don't say that. You don't mean that. He's joking.
I'm joking, people. Yeah. I'm joking. I can't believe I have to point out that I'm joking in this day and age, but I'm joking. I kid. But yeah, it's but both coasts are gonna get it.
Yeah.
I think it's gonna hear me out. I think it's nice that it's coming to Disneyland. But due to the atmosphere of Florida, I think it's going to be a lot more sweeter in Florida because you're going to feel that humidity.
Oh, the humidity.
like you do in Louisiana.
Here's the thing about Splash Mountain. And again, you speak from experience because you were there and you did ride that version of the attraction, right, in Orlando?
Yeah,
Okay.
that's where I got the news that when Mr. Robin Williams passed away.
Right. You
Right,
said that.
It was like right after I got off Splash Mountain that I got it. I was like, and that pretty much like bummed me out for the rest of the
Yeah.
day.
Here's the thing. I would be very fucking scared to ride Splash Mountain in Florida.
Why? Is it because of the? Is it because of the civilian discrepancies?
What do you mean the civilian I'm talking about the fucking Gators.
Oh, the Gators. The Gators. I thought you were talking about Florida because we know what party they lean to. Okay.
No, not that. I'm not saying they're going to sabotage the riot system. I'm talking about because there have been alligators that have been spotted right next to fucking Splash Mountain.
Yes, his name is Louis, and you should show him respect. All he wants to do is just play the freaking trumpet.
I just like that would be on my mind. I think more often than most people. It's just like
You'd think it's an animatronic, but then
no, not that. I
No, I know.
honestly, the water scares me.
the water scares
It scares
you?
me in Florida because of the gators, and I just like I would have that in my mind that as soon as I'm close to water, I'd be like, oh fuck, what if like this happens to be the day
Okay.
that they got in.
I don't know what the name of the boat that they have over there. I'm just gonna call it the Mark Twain.
The Liberty Bell?
The Liberty Bell. Yes, thank you. I went on the Liberty Bell over there, and we saw several splashes in the water
Oh no.
while we were on that boat. So, yay! Going down the bayou. Oh my god, that's gonna be fun.
It's also a little interesting though because remember a few years ago, Lane Graves was murdered by an alligator,
yeah,
a 2-year-old,
right.
and they had to remove basically all like images of Lewis from the Princess and the Frog because he is an alligator. So they're kind of basically bringing that back in Orlando, which is interesting considering that whole situation that happened. That was a bad week in general for Orlando, but you know.
Why have your freaking child in the middle of the freaking beach where you know certain animals
It wasn't
live?
just them, Kyle. I'm sure because you were there before that happened, right? This was 2014, and I've heard from many, the podcasters that I listen to that it would just be a common thing that you'd see people just putting their feet in the water and walking around in Bay Lake. Adults. That would be the thing. And so after the whole Lane Graves thing happened, they fenced it up, they put stones, and they put signs, hey, there are gators and snakes, don't get in this water. And for better measure, they didn't leave you the option of getting in the water. So it wasn't just that family. It was a lot of people, from what I hear.
I don't know. I'm a thrill seeker. So I'm like, ooh.
Well, you were there. Did you get near the water?
Yeah, I got near the water.
Did you get in the water?
I dipped my toes in there, yeah.
Yeah, okay. You see? People do that. And they didn't think that there'd be gators in there.
I dipped my toes and then I sat down on the beach and watched the freaking Incredibles. And I was like, this is nice. I had my coffee in my hand and, at night it was kind of chilly, it was a good vibe. Because at night at the Grand Floridian, they do that. They have movies on the beach.
I wanted to add something else to this discussion. I don't know if it's been stated so far, and I don't think it was the last time we did a show, but I had been wondering this entire lockdown, whatever you want to call it, if the constructions that were going on at Disney parks were still going on. And I think I found out via Fresh Baked that about a little over a month ago, that construction on the Runaway Railway in Toontown and Avengers Campus had commenced. And so and it is on a daily thing now. basically, because if you recall,
Today.
it's been that way for a month.
Okay.
Avengers Campus, at least part of it, was supposed to open this summer, wasn't it, with Spider-Man?
Yeah. Yeah, I was supposed to do it. Yeah.
So yeah, that's kind of I just wanted to bring that to your attention because I'm not sure we had discussed that before, and it also give us context to that Disney is still going to finish these projects, because we have to also keep, in mind that some things are going to have to be scrapped because of how long the parks have been closed and how much money they've burned because of the pandemic. So just to keep that in mind, that may also be a reason why Hungry Bear might not be converted so quickly, because they're losing $30 million a day. And
by I listened to the quarter announcements, and they were, I wouldn't say go as far as saying they were on the verge of tears, but like it was not good.
You did?
They were like, we lost $5 million in this department. We lost $1.2 million in this department. We lost $10,000 in this department. We lost, and it was just like that tally in the Hunger Games where like it announces like a death. Yeah, it was pretty much that. So it was not a good earnings call at all. And the next quarter, Q3, when that comes around, we're expecting it's going to be a lot worse. And it's just going to go and plummet downhill and all that stuff. So yay, we have that. Yeah, final thoughts on Splash Mountain and Princess
I have no
and the
more
Frog.
thoughts. Great news, can't wait.
Great news.
Yep.
Okay, let's sail on the Black Pearl and let's talk about the Margot Robbie. It was announced also last week. We had a pretty big news week for Disney last week. Margot Robbie is gonna lead a Pirates film.
And supposedly this is separate from the Karen Gillan movie that's in production as well.
Yeah, I was wondering that as well. I was like, what happened to Karen Gillan? Is she removed and all that stuff? But no, that's going to be a separate movie, which I think is interesting because I think Karen Gillan deserves her own movie. Yeah. But yeah, Margot Robbie, she's going to be, I think if I read it correctly, she is going to be the lead of the official sixth Pirates movie, if I read it correctly. So
okay.
So she's going to be the lead of the sixth Pirates movie, and Catherine Hodson, the one who wrote. Christina Hodson, who wrote Birds of Prey, is leading this project as well. So that's where we have on that. Thoughts?
This reminds me of the time a few years back during Comic-Con where we found out that simultaneously there were multiple Harley Quinn movies and at the same time multiple Joker movies in production or at different stages of development. This is strange behavior from the studio. They don't normally do this. I would like to think that the fact that there are multiple Pirates projects going on at the same time, that finally they're going to manage that franchise properly, because I think we're all on the same page that the Pirates franchise fell off a cliff after 3, particularly after 4, that there was no direction for those movies. And the last one was not only a disappointment in terms of, the creative standpoint, but it only made $700 million worldwide, which that is low for a Pirates film. So
yeah, and I mean, it's no big deal. They're only like the 14th highest grossing franchise of all time. It's no big deal. But the thing about this is that, for me, it was particularly interesting to watch on Stranger Tides because it was it was kind of standalone.
Right.
And I was like, okay, they could do like what they used to do back in the day, like Errol Flynn as Robin Hood versus, something like that. And you could do something like that, like how they did in the old days, like where they do standalone adventures with, with the character and all that stuff. And I think that would have been interesting. But then Dead Man Tell No Tales, it was like clear that they were like, oh, we have no idea what we're doing.
Yeah.
And it's very unfortunate. A lot of people point the finger at Johnny Depp. No, it's not Johnny Depp's fault. Because people thrust him as the main character of the series. Particularly like the film directors and all that stuff.
People were blaming him for the quality of the movie?
Well, of the movie losing its magic, like the series losing its magic, like they used him as a scapegoat.
I mean, what about Alan Horn? What about the people he hired and the lack of attention that was paid to the projects in question? I mean, they're far more responsible. And I've not waded into the whole Depp Amber situation, but I will say clearly that man was in no condition to make a movie in part 5, and you saw that.
And it's unfortunate because that's his favorite fucking character. He poured his blood, sweat, and tears to make that movie, to make that character happen. He fought tooth and nail, even though that he was almost fired several times in the first one, to get this character rolling. He was, first of all, Jack Sparrow was never the lead character. It was supposed to be friggin' Orlando Bloom. That was supposed to be the lead character and by and large, like his actions in the movie are what set forth the plot for the rest of the series. So I don't understand it. But yeah, it's not.
Do you know what the future is? Is Johnny Depp at all involved in these projects?
He is signed on for the 6th film. So we're most likely going to see Margot Robbie and Johnny Depp being in the 6th Pirates movie. But with
I'll tell you this. Let me just say, I think that if they're taking this seriously, get the right people, and Birds of Prey generally I feel was well received from what I recall, you might have something here. Margot Robbie is phenomenal in anything.
Yeah.
She is a great actor. Great actor. I mean, if she could, look at what she did with Harley Quinn is kind of iconic at this point.
Yeah, almost almost synonymous with what Arlene Sorkin did back in the day when the character was created. I mean, there's two freaking Harley Quinns that people usually think of: Arlene or Margot Robbie.
Right.
More now with the modern day audience, more Margot Robbie because just you see her face and you're like, oh, that's Harley Quinn, And
so she's waded into this territory before, so she has I think, a really interesting repertoire, a nice resume of roles that she's done, a nice range of them, from I, Tonya to Wolf of Wall Street to this.
She played Mary Queen of Scots. I mean, she's done so many things that I think
she and Depp can work great off each other. And lest we forget, because people like to trash on Johnny Depp, his performance was seemingly the only good thing about The Crimes of Grindelwald or whatever it was.
Yeah, he acted honestly, Johnny Depp, he acted his ass off in Crimes of Grindelwald. he pretty much saved that movie. So I think I don't know. I mean, you could do different things with this with this movie. But yeah, I think the chemistry between Depp and Robbie would be something special. I think in a good way, not a condescending special, but like a good special. It's so funny. We're talking about this today. I kind of did a mini marathon of Pirates of the Caribbean movies.
Did you?
In the morning, I watched Dead Man's Chest and On Stranger Tides. It was Dead Man's Chest, and like the CG on that movie still freaking holds up. But probably better than some of the effects in the Marvel movies
any movie to this day. One of the best, I feel, visual effects. I had this discussion with Peter on some other podcast a few weeks back where, you know what, say what you want about Disney. I think we were having a discussion on Tron Legacy, because Tron Legacy had the first de-aging effect in big way with Jeff Bridges mostly being de-aged in that movie. And I said, look, say what you want about the quality of, Disney movies, but they are kind of pioneers when it comes to this kind of technology. With visual effects, and they're still kind of the best at these kind of effects.
Like the mocap and the performance capture that they did on Bill Nighy when he did freaking Davy Jones. I think that is some of the best CG work in cinema history. Like people usually bring up Jurassic Park, and when you see the dinosaurs for the first time in that movie, and there's two instances where I think that it changed the game. Number one, Jurassic Park for sure, but also number two, Davy Jones. Yeah, I think those two are tentpole game changers when it comes to CG, and I honestly, Pirates needs this kind of soft reboot.
It needs something. It needs something to kick it back to life.
It needs CPR. Ted and Terry, they're no longer doing shit. So
are we sure? Because I could have sworn that I heard that they were working on the Karen Gillan movie, and that was going to be a spin-off.
Yeah, which, by the way, she's playing Red, right?
Peter called it. Yeah.
She's playing Red. Yeah. I think that's what's going to happen, which I think is nice, but it would have been also nice to have her play her own character.
Red isn't really a character. I mean, Red was just this red-headed pirate that they added into the ride. So, I mean, you know how Disney is in synergy. I guess the hope is that at the very least, that Karen Gillan Red movie is successful in its own right, and that character becomes, the Jack Sparrow of a new generation. And I mean, best case scenario, that's what you're looking at. So I'm hoping it all goes better than the last 10 years have, because the last 10 years with this franchise have been sad.
Yeah. But Margot Robbie, though, I think she's charismatic as fuck. I think because you look at what she does with Harley Quinn, you look at, her performance in I, Tonya and everything like that. And she, there's so many different things that I think that will work with the chaotic energy and bizarre world that you have with Pirates of the Caribbean, because the world is bizarre. I don't think, people think of just Jack Sparrow or Johnny Depp doing a Keith Richards impersonation, but I think that this is going to be something unique, and I feel something good about this coming up. I don't know about you.
No, I agree. I think this is the most, easily the most excited Pirates news, or I've been about Pirates since the early 2010s.
Yeah. Final thoughts before we move on?
No, that's it.
Okay. The Florida governor can't be bothered with the reopening of Walt Disney World, which yeah Alexis just like did a dramatic lean back onto his chair. I think he's done with that news. I mean, and honestly, same. What the fuck? And of course, it had to be Florida too. Goddamn. Okay. It's bad news. It's obviously bad news. Like, what the hell? When you reopen Disney World, people, especially in that area, they're just dumb. They're not going to listen to the rules. They're not going to be compliant. They're not going to
be fair, we're not so hot in California either right now.
No.
People are...
No, okay, this nation, to be fair, this whole nation is freaking stupid as hell. But yeah, they're just opening up the floodgates for disaster at this point.
Open up the gates.
Open up the gates for the first time in forever. We won't wear our masks for the first time in forever. Social distancing is an ass.
So, it's so hard to decide where to start with this conversation. For listeners of the Fantasy Faire podcast that are not normal listeners of Red Spotlight, be advised, I'm not going to mince words, just so we're clear about this. But I guess we could start off with a little bit of good news before we get into the whole Orlando situation, because it is connected with the decision made in California to postpone the reopening of Disneyland.
It was supposed to open July 17th.
For the 65th anniversary. Oh my fucking God.
That would have been a disaster.
I think last time we talked about this, it would have been, right? Did the last time we sat down, did they already announce the opening? Okay. And I said that I criticized them for trying to make an event out of reopening for the 65th anniversary of Disneyland, because that would only attract large gatherings. So they had to release a statement, and they used a scapegoat in... Hey, Kyle, we have a guest calling in.
Ding dong. Oh, who could it be?
My God.
It's Alexis Moreno. How are you doing, Alexis?
Okay.
She's already done. She's already done with this podcast.
Kyle, what did you put in that iced coffee?
You have no idea, my friend.
Okay, I just wanted to ask.
You think it's iced coffee? Pfft, I fooled you. It's really iced coffee with creamer. But anyway, yeah, so Florida, they're shit. Let's talk about that.
Well, we were saying, what was the last thing I was even saying? I was saying that I was, the good news about it was that they pushed the date from Disneyland, which would be July 17th, to now a unforeseen, unknown opening date at California. And at Florida, things are still going forward, I think, with the reopening at Disney World. The governor of that state has made numerous comments about not going back into lockdown or shelter in place. There's been no comment from Disney since having delayed the opening of Disneyland. However, and I mentioned him earlier in the show before, Pete Warner from the Diz is all but expecting any day now for Disney to announce that they're going to delay the opening for Disney World as well. I mean, you would hope, but...
I mean, they really... if things made sense in the world, which they don't, you would have you could think that they would have announced that it would have been closed, along with Disneyland, when they said, "Hey, we're not opening July 17th."
I think that at this point it might be kind of a little late to push it back, just because I'm thinking like they've already had people reschedule their vacation time. Are they really gonna go out of their way to have them reschedule?
We're gonna piss off a bunch of people.
And regardless of like what we may think is correct, like they're kind of thinking about that. I feel.
We've, at least some of us, have seen from afar that the process of this reservation system that was established on the My Disney Experience has been an ordeal, and a lot of people have been really trying to, get something back from their vacations of which they were canceled because of the pandemic. And we all know that reservation system is very complicated and is by design pissing people off because people who booked 7 days might not even get a day in the park based on how the reservation system works. So on top of all that going on, canceling those dates are going to piss people off. But and I only speak for myself, I don't care. It's a vacation. I think what's more important is the safety. And I feel like if it gets that bad, Disney has to consider it because they don't want to embarrass themselves. They can deal with angry calls. That's kind of their whole existence, really. And it's Florida, so there's a little bit of a expectation with that. But the thing is, there has been speculation about pushing it back, at least the opening date, because things are getting worse every single day. They're topping themselves with cases of coronavirus, and the closer and closer we get to the 5th, are they still opening July 15th? Is that the day that they're opening Disney World? Does anyone know?
I think so.
Yeah.
Okay, the closer and closer, like we have to see where we're at, like the week after the 4th of July, and see how if we continue to go down this road of things getting worse every single day, there is going to be some pressure. Now, that isn't going to come from the governor of Florida, so they may just go ahead and do it. But when they do that, and if they do that, all bets are off. How that's going to go.
So what you're saying is that the beaches will be open for the 4th of July.
They actually won't. To be clear about that, they actually won't. Florida actually shut that down. The beaches being closed they were open for all the other holidays like Memorial Day, but they're not going to be open for the 4th of July. So at the very least, you can give them that.
Yeah. Anyway, final thoughts on the whole Florida. I mean, we've had so many episodes on Red Spot Entertainment listing the reasons why this nation is stupid in terms of coronavirus. Just throw a freaking dart at a random title and you could automatically land on which one we talked about. It's
the same thing. It's the same thing with this and some other stories. It's like, it's a wait and see.
Yeah. Moreno, before you magically appeared on this episode, we talked about Splash Mountain and the whole Princess the Frog overhaul, and we also talked about Margot Robbie leading the 6th Pirates film. Let's start with Splash Mountain. Moreno, what are your thoughts on Splash Mountain being overhauled by Princess and the Frog?
I'm so excited. Okay, the thing is, I didn't actually think this is ever gonna happen. This has been like years of people being like, oh, it would be really cool if Princess and the Frog took over Splash Mountain, blah blah blah. And I'm not sure if like before, I mean, at least I didn't get that from people saying it. Like I said, it's been years of people saying this. That it was because of Song of the South. It was because Princess and the Frog is such like a beloved movie, and like, and I think it came from, I mean, starting with Tower of Terror, like being turned into Guardians. Like I think that's kind of where it started, and people were kind of like, oh, like what would be like a really cool thing to do like that. And I think that's how that came about. And I mean, ever since I first heard it, I was like all for it. But again, I always just kind of thought like it wasn't gonna happen, because it's like it came from like the fans type of thing. And I mean, sometimes they do listen to us, but like something like this huge, like, you know what I mean?
Because we were discussing it earlier. I mean, the name Splash Mountain, like it's one of the biggest attractions, not only here in America, but like globally. Like this is like a huge deal, like one of the signature attractions along with Pirates and what have you. So like to completely give it a facelift like that, like it's like turning Pirates of the Caribbean into like something else. I mean, it's a huge thing that people thought couldn't be done, but here we are. It's actually being done with concept art, actual leadership. I think that's really cool.
Yeah, and like, what I think is like super interesting, and obviously I think it's kind of stupid, like people coming out and being like, oh, because of all the protesting and blah blah, like all the negative things that are being said about this. But it's like, did you read the article? Like, they've been planning this for a year, and whether it was the right time or not, it was, I mean, from a business standpoint, it was a really good, like, marketing tool.
Yeah. They're
and, like and it may sound, like, rude or something, you know? Like, maybe that shouldn't be the reasoning why as to it was announced, but it just, you know,
it's serendipitous that this shit happens. Yeah, it's like a very coincidence. It's like, cue that scene from Incredibles where he's like, coincidence? I think not. But like, it's so, number one, it's very important because like I think Tiana and the whole Princess of the Frog brand is very underrepresented in the parks.
Yeah.
And a lot of people will argue like, oh, what about the Lion King and, you know, Aladdin and all that stuff, and
they have a land.
The thing about this is that they have put themselves in the cultural zeitgeist that they don't need it, you know. But it's really nice that your first and only so far Black princess is getting her own shit. I think that's incredible.
Yeah, and like she's come a long way. Like, this movie was not a hit when it came out, and now, like, bro, Splash Mountain is turning into Princess. Like, it's so cool, and like, I literally cannot wait to see how everything is gonna look like, because like, everything from the music to the layout of the ride, like everything just fits so perfectly, and I think it's gonna be great.
Alexis brought up some points. Number one, like a bunch of like there's fan edits of people, not only like people putting the music onto the ride and the footage and everything like that, and how it really fits in well, but also the opportunity of making it a nighttime attraction as well, with like the fireflies and just like having this vibe, because most of this movie takes place at night. Yeah.
I mean,
and like the Splash Mountain isn't a place you want to be at night, even like in front of it. But now you have like something beautiful to take a picture with at night.
Yeah.
On top of Splash Mountain.
Yeah. And I mean, there is a lot of like other questions, I think, that can be brought up. Like, I mean, I know I asked you guys like what's gonna happen to Critter Country, like all that surrounding area, but like I saw people making like turning Critter Country and kind of like the Bayou type of thing, but still call it Critter Country. It still works. Switch the Mark Twain, like where it's stationed at, like switch it to where Splash Mountain is, somewhere around there. Take out the canoes and put it there. I mean, so many things could be done, and I think, like, I don't think that there's like a bad thing that could come out of this.
Yeah, if anything, you're expanding New Orleans Square.
Yeah, and like it's still not a bad thing. Like that's one of like the best parts of the whole park. Like,
yeah. I made the suggestion earlier. Turn that little area into Pooh Corner.
Yeah.
Just like have Winnie the Pooh have his own little station, and the Hungry Bear restaurant. You could easily turn that into Tiana's Place.
Yeah, yeah. And I know a lot of people were like, why aren't they making her like a restaurant? Like that's what she should have gotten, blah blah. But it's like you could do that anytime. Like this is huge. This is like what she actually needed. I think
she's getting an actual e-ticket attraction, and
that's big. That is so fucking big, you know? Like, just talking about how unprecedented this is. When Alexis was saying how shocked she was, that's important to not, forget in all of this, because this was, in my view, at least what I recall, an idea that originated from the fans.
Yeah, yeah.
And to have that on this level, like, actually happen, that, like, it hits you like a meteor. It's like, whoa. But, like, at the same time, it's like, well, yeah, we told you we were right. This is perfect.
Yeah.
In just about every single way.
Yeah, yeah. And, like, that's, like, I think that's, like, the only thing that bothers me, that, like, people are taking it as, like, something so negative because of, like, what happened earlier this year. Like, people were signing petitions because everybody's into signing petitions now. And, like, like, they made it, like, it was trending on Twitter and stuff, but this isn't something new. Like this, they have literally been planning this for over a year. This has not been an idea that just happened. Like this has been years of people saying this should be turned into Princess and the Frog. Like that's like the part that like kind of bothers me, because it's something like so good. Like it, like. Compared to like Tower of Terror turning into Guardians of the Galaxy, like come on. Like there was a reason why people were so mad with Tower of Terror, because it's Tower of Terror. And right. I know this is Splash Mountain, but like it's still gonna be the same. Like I don't,
it just has a different skin and face.
Yeah, and it's like, and like I mean, with me at least, like, I was kind of bothered because it's, like, Guardians of the Galaxy. Because it's, like, it was something so new at the time. And I feel like it didn't... Like, if you compare Guardians to Princess and the Frog, like, there's no, like, measuring...
Can I just say something real quick about that? Because I'm not sure we talked about this when that was happening, but I'm not sure people realize that Tower of Terror was going to get rethemed no matter what, because they lost the rights to the Twilight Zone name, the brand. CBS All Access have the rights to that. So they were going to change that ride to a different theme.
Yeah.
Just to be clear about that.
On the West Coast specifically, because like there was like this whole like thing with the timeout, because the Tower of Terror was such an original thing for Hollywood studios in Florida anyway, that it might as well just like leave it be where it is. But
because that was the original one, right? That was the first one. Then it came over here to the West Coast.
Yeah, due to its popularity over there on the East Coast. But the thing that is like really, Moreno brought up an interesting point, is that, Guardians of the Galaxy, it didn't have any breathing room. Princess and the Frog had that cultural breathing room.
Yeah. And I'm not saying, like, I'm not complaining. Obviously, like, when the news first came out about Guardians, like, I obviously complained. But now, like, I obviously love the ride, and, like, it's, like, I love it, But again, you can't compare the two.
No, you can't. And I said this earlier when you weren't here, but when I said, basically saying what you're saying is that, look, more than any other overlay announcement in recent memory, this is the best one, and this is the most exciting news in years, for the simple reason that this is a match made in heaven. The transition from Song of the South to Princess and the Frog for that ride and that attraction is seamless. It's organic. It doesn't feel like it's being manufactured or this like alien weird thing being injected into it. It just feels like, it's so perfect that the next generation, when they're gonna think that, oh, Splash Mountain was always themed to Tiana.
Yeah.
And everything, because it's just perfect theming.
Yeah.
I'm kind of
so
envious.
seamless.
I'm kind of envious. This is like, it's so good. And like, not only that. Okay, go on.
Sorry, I'm also like not saying that you can't be sad about like Splash Mountain changing, because like it is such like a huge ride. Like this is people's like one of their favorite rides, you know. And I understand like it's Splash Mountain. Like I get it, but at the same time, it's like, do you not like Princess of the Frogs? I freaking love Princess of the Frogs.
Look, there's something to be said that all of us Disney fans have had things in recent memory that have gone away that will forever have a special place in our heart. With Alexis got sad about Tower of Terror, Kyle was saddened about Bugs Land. I mean, and other stuff, of course. At the same time, though, Disney has an excellent track record of justifying the changes. With the replacements, if you will. And I also have to say this, you know, because we already discussed the whole problematic aspect of that property, Song of the South, but I also mentioned this, and I wanted to talk to you about this, Alexis, is that no one really gives a shit about the Song of the South characters, because no one knows them.
Yeah.
And with the introduction of Tiana and her world, I love all those characters. People love those characters. And an interesting component is, I have found that people like me who are such big fans of Splash Mountain as it is, love this idea. Yes, because you're only making it better with this. You're making every aspect of that ride better. Yes, why didn't you do this sooner? This is such a great idea.
Yeah.
It's almost a match made in heaven, you know?
Yeah. Like I said, I think it's like, I still think it's just crazy that this is actually happening.
Forget the laughing place. It's all about Tiana's place, right? That was horrible.
Yeah, that was pretty bad. That was the worst one.
But yeah, we're obviously we're all excited about this shit. So we'll see it in 2026.
Yeah,
maybe.
Yeah.
Yeah, put asterisks, maybe. Fuck.
Well, that's an interesting question. No, they didn't announce when they would start doing this. We know that there are construction projects going on at this moment. I wonder if they want to give people a little bit of a window where they can experience the ride one last time as it is, because they usually do that.
Yeah.
They have events for it, but of course, the pandemic kind of has to go away for that to even happen, you know, because that's kind of delaying things, really.
Have they announced anything? Because wasn't the Marvel stuff supposed to come out already?
Yeah, it was supposed to debut in chunks. With I think in July, Spider-Man was supposed to open.
Well.
That laugh just said it all.
But they are working on it. From what I heard, the construction is going on at this moment. So.
I wanted to ask you: have you guys seen the Cinderella Castle?
Yeah. I like.
Yeah.
Okay, what do you guys think about it before I spiel?
Why is it pink?
Bitch stole my look. It's like
Wait,
Cinderella
there's actually
Castle.
two castles. There's Cinderella Castle and then there's Hong Kong's castle. Have you guys seen that one?
Yeah, I saw Hong Kong's.
That one's nuts. It's huge. I like Hong Kong's. I feel like people are really negative towards it, or I don't know. I've seen like
Hong Kong is changing, isn't it? Didn't
Yeah,
they
it's
announce
supposed to
that
be
they
an
were?
amalgamation of like all the styles from all
Yeah.
the Disney princesses.
I think I like it. I've seen people being like, ugh, like it's
own-
too much. But I'm like, it's a castle. What do you mean?
Did you see Shanghai's castle?
Exactly.
Yeah,
Like
about that
it's
a bit
it's
much.
really like stylistic. Like they have like blues and pinks in there and like all sorts of like
All the
colors,
of the
but like they kind of
rainbows.
blend in together and like oranges and stuff. But I don't know. I like it. I like that it's not like I don't like the fact that there's like two castles that are the same. Like Cinderella's castle is also in Tokyo, and like Sleeping Beauty castle was in Hong Kong. I like that they did change it because at least like at least they could change one, because I feel like if they changed Disneyland, like that's like blasphemy. But like
Yeah,
at least
'cause that's,
this
like, the
one,
holy
like this
ground.
one, they could totally get away with it. And I like it. And then Cinderella's castle, I think it's just kind of weird that it's pink.
It's like Cinderella's castle and Sleeping Beauty's castle like show up one day and they're like, obviously one of us has to change.
So it got that repaint. Is that only for the 50th anniversary? Or is that a permanent change?
I'm not sure. I think it's
I don't
only
know
for the
either.
anniversary. I hope.
I mean, it could be worse. We could be stuck with the freaking birthday cake one.
I would have rather
Yeah,
seen that.
I don't mind that it's pink. I guess the pink looks weird.
Yeah. Yeah.
I think it's because you automatically affiliate like the Cinderella castle with like its blues that it already has. And,
Yeah. I don't know. It just looks kind of odd. But I don't know.
well,
I mean, again, if it'll probably be temporary and then it'll go back to the way that it was.
Mhm.
But like, I mean, yeah.
What if they do gold? Didn't they do gold for Disneyland? That's kind of weird. I don't know. Whatever.
they already had gold spires to begin with. The Sleeping Beauty
Mhm.
castle.
The castle itself wasn't painted gold, was it?
No,
No.
had
50th?
But like
No.
it had like trinkles of gold and stuff. But I feel
Gold
like
inlays.
gold would have made more sense than pink. I don't know. It's just every time I see it, it just like feels so like out of place. I don't know. This is weird.
Yeah, it really does.
like, it's
I was like, wow.
it's taboo or some shit like that because like you're stealing somebody else's look. But yeah, Margot. Final thoughts on Splash Mountain and Princess and the Frog before we go on to the other previous subjects.
I love it. I can't wait to see it. If we ever
Okay.
get to see it.
If we ever get, yeah, that's a good point. If we ever get to see it. Speaking of if we ever get to see it, Margot Robbie is leading the 6th Pirates film in the soft reboot.
So Johnny Depp is like officially not coming back? Because weren't they kind of saying
Okay.
that he might like show up or something?
Here's what we know. Okay, the writer, the person who wrote the Christina, let me see. Let me go back. But the screenwriter for Birds of Prey is writing this movie.
Okay.
and it's supposed to be the 6th official movie of the series, and Johnny Depp is supposed to be coming back for this one.
Yeah, because Johnny Depp is signed on for a 6th film.
Mm-hmm.
So he is gonna be in this movie.
So he's
but
gonna
it's
die.
just it's gonna Han Solo the whole bullshit.
Is she gonna be like his daughter or something? Probably, huh?
I mean, they are the appropriate age. Yeah, but Margot Robbie is gonna be the the lead actress, the actor of the film. She's going to be the lead character. Johnny Depp is in it, and the writer for Birds of Prey is writing and leading the project as well. So that's what we know so far. And this is separate from the spin-off movie that Karen Gillan is doing on the side. So yeah, that's all the facts that we know. So what do you think about all of this? What's your 2 cents? Okay, let's start off with Margot Robbie. Do you think it's a good decision to put like Margot Robbie in the Pirates world?
I mean, I guess it's just like it's kind of weird because like these are like Jack Sparrow's movies. I don't know. It's just kind of odd. I mean, to be like completely honest, I haven't liked a Pirates movie since the second one. So
okay.
I don't know. It's just kind of like, to me, it's kind of like, why? Like, what more is there to tell? I mean, maybe his death, I guess, but
I mean, dead men tell no tales, you know?
I don't know. It's just kind of weird.
Like, honestly, okay, go on. Sorry.
No, and then it's, I don't know, like her signing on to this. I don't know. It's just kind of weird. Sorry.
It could be interesting. Because I think like Margot Robbie and like Johnny Depp, let's be honest. I mean, Alexis brought it up earlier in the show. Johnny Depp wasn't in the best place.
Yeah, true.
when he did the fifth one.
Yeah.
So that had a big factor in everything like that. But honestly, Margot Robbie and like Johnny Depp's like charisma, and then them reacting with each other would be really interesting. Mm-hmm. So we could it could lend itself to some interesting dynamics in that.
And I guess, like, you could say that this could be kind of, like, his comeback type of thing. So it could be, like, he's gonna give it his all, you know?
Comeback and goodbye.
So, I don't know.
Well,
maybe.
What I said to Kyle is that, at the very least, what I would hope from these separate projects that are happening is the fact that there are 2 separate Pirates projects in development at the same time, which is very unusual for Disney and any of their franchises to do. Disney themselves, not like Pixar, Marvel, or Star Wars. You would hope that because of this, there's going to be a lot more care and attention placed on this franchise where it so clearly wasn't there for the last 10 plus years.
Yeah.
Clearly, they're looking at it. They see that the franchise is kind of dead, but it's still worthwhile to resuscitate it because of how lucrative it is, especially in China. So they're going to throw whatever they have left at the wall to see what they can do. And at the very least, there's the effort being put in there where there wasn't before. Now, I gather from your perspective as someone who has not been at all enamored with these movies since basically 2006, this news comes in a mixture of weird and I also don't care because I haven't cared in a long time, you know, and that's just the truth. I mean, I get you because most people I don't think care anymore because that 5th movie kind of, I mean, I think it speaks for itself.
Yeah. Yeah. A month ago when it was announced that, and it's so weird that like 2 is in development, and Alexis brought up a good like comparison that this is very much harkening back to when DC announced that they were making like 20 Harley Quinn movies and 20 Joker movies.
Remember that weekend? It was so weird. They announced like 4 Harley Quinn movies. Like there was like supposed to be a Harley Quinn standalone, Birds of Prey, Gotham City Sirens, and then the Joker versus Harley Quinn. I think were the movies that were announced.
Yeah.
To be in development.
The Karen Gillan movie sounded really interesting to me. Like, obviously, she's gonna play Red.
I feel like that one's a little bit more interesting to me. Like, they're both like
it is a spin-off,
pretty much the same, but I'm kind of leaning more on that one a little bit more.
Oh my god!
Yeah, it's gonna take.
It is gonna be a spin-off too.
Yeah, and it's gonna take.
Yeah.
It's gonna take place within that universe, the Pirates universe. But like, I don't know, it lends itself to more like creative things, and Alexis said that you could make like Red the new Jack Sparrow and all that stuff, and you could have like this synonymous characters interacting, in the rides and all that stuff. So,
I mean, I kind of don't like that either, because I think that Jack Sparrow is like such an iconic character, and like to kind of.
I want to clarify though. I'm not saying for her to rip off Jack Sparrow.
No,
I'm saying to make a brand new character. That way she can be as big as Jack Sparrow was for this generation, right? Like just do something new, create a new character, not to be a copycat of Jack Sparrow, but because if you do that, if you do create a memorable character with Red, you kind of bring this franchise back to life.
Yeah.
Yeah, and like, honestly, it just needs a really good freaking resuscitation, charge to the heart kind of thing. Because honestly, like, this franchise is kind of on its last few breaths. Yeah, I don't know. What do you think? Where do you think it should go? Where do you think it should be dead in the water and just like leave it back to its glory days?
Kind of, yeah. I mean, like I said, I am kind of interested to see if they are gonna do Red or not. But yeah, I just think that like, at least for me, like it's been 3 movies, or it's like, or 2 movies. No, yeah, 3 movies. Sorry, I can't do math. Where it's just kind of been like, So, I don't know.
Yeah. What would be really interesting is if they announced that GDT.
What the fuck is that?
Guillermo del Toro announces that he is leading a Haunted Mansion project.
Oh, yeah. Dude. They've like had this like on their lap for how many years now? It needs to get going already.
Yeah. Yeah.
What did you say? Guillermo
del Toro.
Ulani?
No, stop it. Yeah. So Pirates of the Caribbean, that was that. The final bit of news that we have, I think Alexis has his body and spirit have left us. But we shall continue. Mulan is moving again to August. Thoughts?
Okay. I feel bad, but I think that they just need to release it on streaming services, or not streaming services,
VOD?
Yeah, this is clearly not going away. It's getting worse and worse each day. There's no ending sight to this. And I feel bad because I think that Mulan should have a theater release, you know? Like, I think that this could have potentially have been what Black Panther was.
For the Asian community, yeah.
And, like, I think especially this year that they could have used it. You know what like, I feel like it's something that they could have made them feel empowered, made them feel good because of just all this crap that's going on.
Yeah. We have a fucking president that's calling this whole shit the Kung Flu.
Yeah,
you know?
And like, this could have been something really good, but unfortunately, like, you kind of have to work with what you got. And I think doing that, you know, I don't think that it would. I don't think it would do as good, but I don't think it's gonna be bad either, because I think that people were looking forward to watching this movie, and like, Mulan is huge, like, you know, like, a lot of people love this movie and stuff, and I think that it could potentially be a hit.
It's also got something that a lot of the other Disney princess properties don't have, and that's international clout.
Mm-hmm.
So it has that going for it as well. I mean, it's already a step ahead of the game by just for that and for that. But I completely agree with you. Mulan should have had a lot more pomp and circumstance going on, but it's just unfortunate that it's unfortunately not. I mean, a lot of people pushing movies back, like Nolan is with Tenet and all these other movies. You know, a lot of these Hollywood people and the people releasing these movies are in complete denial stage, because like the movies aren't gonna happen this year. Let's just be honest.
Yeah.
Movies that were supposed to come out this year are not going to come out this year. Even when it comes to November, we're already going to be approaching the second or third wave. So we're not going to get that when everybody dog piled on top of, November, and use that as the hope. But it doesn't look good. Alexis, what do you think about this whole thing? Moreno suggested that, it just straight up move to VOD.
Some of them are going to have to. I had this discussion yesterday with Peter on Red Spotlight. It'll be up on Sunday. After this is up Friday of the same week for listeners out there. But we have the same consensus, is that, look, this is ridiculous at this point. Movie theaters, movie studios, much like everyone else, are beyond deluded to think that movies are going to be a thing in 2020. Hashtag movies are canceled 2020. That's it. It's over. It's not happening. Not only is the most lucrative summer season done and over with, but we'd be lucky if anything comes out Christmas time. I even said to Peter, if January 1st, 2021 comes and theaters are open, if anything's open like that, I would be shocked. It's not happening.
Yeah. And we're not looking at anything opening until like fall of next year.
Basically, and for Mulan, just to be clear about Mulan, it's a shame what fate handed that poor movie, considering the kind of reaction it would have gotten from audiences around the world at the same time that you have with a theater. But the studio, the company, isn't making any money. They might take a loss and then just start putting it on VOD for, like, I don't know, $24.99 or something, and then to make some kind of a profit, because, and it pains me to say it, because any movie, and just be clear, any movie that'll be dropped on VOD from the selection that we have for this fall, or clearly you're making a lot less than you would have in a theater. So it's a lose-lose situation. For the big movies, if you can, delay them. But if you can't, and if they've been promoted too often, like, I really wonder what they're going to do with Wonder Woman and Mulan, especially because those films have been around, and even Black Widow. Like, And you know the sad reality about all three of those movies?
I completely forgot that Black Widow existed.
I know, but you know what the sad thing about all three of those movies is that there were big female lead movies. Like, this was supposed to be a year that kind of changed the summer season, and it would have been like a big year for like not just like one big female-led movie, but like several big female-led movies. And what happens? They get shunted off to VOD or canceled.
Summer of the Woman. Yeah, it would have been completely crazy because you would have had like these like empowering films, but short-shafted. COVID, and also Moreno pointed out another good thing. Like, it's the year that the Asian community kind of needed something empowering the most because of like the stigma of what's going on. It's I feel really bad, and also like the filmmakers put a lot of time and effort into this movie.
Like, literally, Mulan was supposed to come out this year, and Raya was supposed to come out this year.
Yeah.
Like, come on. And literally, oh my god, this like pisses me off so much. In the Heights was supposed to come out this year. I forgot about Raya. Heights. So, I mean, you know, it's In the Heights. Also, Soul was supposed to come out this year. Come on.
By this time, Alexis, today is June 30th, 2020. If Corona hadn't happened, we would have already seen Soul, Black Widow, Wonder Woman, No Time to Die, and Mulan.
Come on. These are huge movies. Like, are you kidding me? It's insane. And like, yeah, like, it freaking sucks. Like, I get it. Like, from a business standpoint, it freaking sucks. Like, you put so much into these movies, and not only that, like, I truly believe that, like, these movies came from, like, a good place. You know, like, it was the year of inclusion, kind of. Yeah. And it, like, just release them. Like, come on. Like, just do it.
Just do it. Yeah, I completely agree. But like it again.
Wait a minute. Wait. Kyle, did you already mention this? Okay. Let me just say this. I half of me agrees with Alexis, but the other half of me still clings to like, no, fuck it. These movies, give them their due. Yeah. It's important for audiences.
I completely agree. Like, I wish that's something that can happen, but it can't. Like, I was telling Kyle, like, there's no ending sight to this. There's no there isn't. No ending sight to this. Just release them. Like,
yeah. But this is what I was gonna ask.
You know, you could release it in the places that are doing really well, like New Zealand and all that, and give them the like China. Yes. China is doing far better than we are, and several different Asian things. Just give Asia Mulan and have the film be released on VOD here in the States. Like,
this is the question I have, and I had this with Peter yesterday about Hollywood productions having been resumed for a few weeks now, but we're just thinking that there may end up having to stop filming again because things are getting worse every single day. And if that's the case, these big movies may be all that the studios have left to cling on to, because they may also be in a situation where they also can't make any new content. Yeah. So, like, let's say we're in a situation early-ish March 2021, and things have improved drastically, and we're getting back up and running. If everything was dropped on VOD, there would be nothing to show. And again, that could be remedied with theaters like playing classic films and everything for the first few weeks or months to getting people slowly back into the movies. But it's not just a situation of like not making money. You're also not making any new content. So what's a worse decision? Drop what you have right now on VOD and make some cash, but then get ready for the months where you have no content at all ready to go? Because some productions, like I think Jurassic World, have resumed filming. But
I think, okay, here's the thing. I think with... Well, Disney kind of has an easy way, because you could remotely, like you did with The Lion King, like there was freaking animators who were working on The Lion King due to the LA earthquakes in their freaking garages, and they completed the movie that way. So you could easily finish and start front to back all your animated projects that you already had, because like everything's in a render farm. So
yeah,
you could easily finish, like Raya. You could easily finish Raya this year, and have them all have all the animators be commissioned from their own homes. I think you could easily do that. Live action, just forget it. You're not going to get any live action.
And that's just the problem, though. The majority of projects made in Hollywood are live action, and that you can't do at all. So that's kind of the situation you're running into. But I don't know. I will say, the movie that I'm looking forward to the most, and I feel like we need just in our systems, is Soul. Like the clip that was shown and the images, oh my God, that looks like an amazing movie. That looks so good. Like I think I need it. Like the trailer that came out back in March almost made me cry. It was like so that movie I think we need for ourselves.
It's unfortunate. These are very unfortunate times. Fucking sucks, but yeah. But again, we should. I can't emphasize this enough, because like Asia is doing 10 times better than we are. No, 20 times, 30 times better than we are. Just let them have Mulan and have like this be VOD and just sort it out.
That's really weird that they haven't like released a movie to other places.
Yeah, maybe I don't know. Maybe it's because they cling to like the home base, I guess, because like Hollywood and the States.
But I mean, that could still happen. I don't know. Yeah. It's just kind of weird.
Yeah. The only studio that has consistently made the choice to just drop whatever they were planning on VOD is Universal. They're the ones that are consistently dropping movies to VOD, like The King of Staten Island and others or what have you. And then we've heard other studios with select films like Warner Brothers tried to make Scoob happen. That crashed and failed, unfortunately.
You can now see that on HBO Max.
That's how bad it stunk. I mean, for the most part, a lot of not so great movies have been dumped to VOD. That's kind of the majority of them, with some exceptions.
And I also feel like you can't really base it off of that either, because it's like freaking Trolls compared to Mulan, like.
Yeah, I mean,
yeah.
I'm lost for words. Just stay home, wear your damn mask. And if you want to see movies like that again in a theater, then you would be compliant. But unfortunately, we have too many dumbasses in this country. Too many Karens.
Also, can we just say how bungled their whole like comeback tour has been? Like AMC was like, yeah, we're gonna come back in the middle of July. We got Christopher Nolan's Inception and Tenet. We're gonna rock your pants off, basically, with these wonderful movies. But they completely shit the bed with the whole mask fiasco, and then like doing a 180 the next day, and then of course the movies themselves moving, and then them being forced to move. It's like, it's clear more than it ever has been this year. Movies in 2020 in a theatrical experience are not happening. And honestly, considering how bad things are, good. We don't need that. You don't need to go into a dark room with recycled air with people's coughs being pushed in your face and you getting sick. That's a recipe for disaster. And keep in mind, we are people who go to the theaters when they were open on a weekly basis.
Yeah, we were a huge part. Some of us contributed to like a quarter of a movie's earnings. So that's how often we would go.
Might I suggest the Imperial County open up the drive-in theater? Peter had a great suggestion.
No,
open it up. Open it up.
There are so many empty drive-in theaters across the country.
I've been trying to find one here, but I can't. There's none.
That would be a sustainable way to like keep the box office running from just doing drive-in theaters. Take us back to the 50s. We could do that. And also it would be like magical. You could have your own little, you could bring your own little shit. You could bring your own snacks and all that stuff. You know, if you want, you could grill. You know, I mean, there's just like different things. You could have this whole big old bash thing with, you know, drive-in theaters that I think is sorely missing. You know,
I said this to Peter when the world needed them most, they vanished.
Literally.
I don't know what's stopping the lot here in Imperial from opening.
I mean, I guess people have. I mean, that's the thing, right? Like this particular county of which I mentioned is trying so desperately to like make some kind of capital. Well, invest in that, and I feel that would be a business that could be functioning during a pandemic.
Yeah,
do it.
Just close the concession area because that's going to be bullshit. Just do the, you know, do the shit. Yeah, and also I've been.
But like even then, like movie theaters were still selling. Like they were selling bundles of like popcorn and stuff like that to kind of keep afloat. Like I know the Harkins here, that's what they were doing. Like you could not like walk in, but like they were selling the snacks and stuff. Like if you wanted to have a movie night at home, so it could totally be done. I just don't know why it hasn't been done.
The beauty with drive-ins is like you don't need to go to a concession stand. Bring your own fucking food. Mm-hmm. There, I mean, easy as that.
Just like a quarter of the earnings of the movies could go to keeping the lights on at in the drive-in theater, and also like you'll get a better sense of, I mean, even the social distancing, of course, but like there'll be like a better sense of like community because it'll pretty much be like this big old backyard barbecue thing with a freaking big ass projector. So I don't know, it's a time of that land forgot.
It's a simple thing. If movie theaters are open today, even with all the procedures in place, no way in hell I'm going to that. But if a drive-in was open tonight, I'd go tonight. That's how simple it is.
Yeah. Or even better yet, I mean, it doesn't take much. Just set up a freaking projector. I mean, just like set up like a week's worth of construction, and boom, you got, you'll create jobs that way. You'll keep the economy flowing through your town and community. I have no idea why people haven't looked into drive-ins. What the fuck is wrong with people?
I mean, they want bars, it shouldn't be too much of a surprise. Well, they want that. That's true. But we also have to understand this, what we've been saying. They're all deluded. They all haven't grasped the reality of what we are right now. They're still thinking in their minds, August can happen. If we pray and if we wish hard enough, we can make August happen. We can go back to ripping you off with our outrageous prices. Come on, capitalist God. Help us out here.
Where's your God now? Drive-ins. Let's do it. Just do it. It's right there. Yeah. Fuck it. Let's make our own with blackjack and hookers.
Oh, one quick thing. From what I understand, Downtown Disney is at Disneyland is still scheduled to open. Just so we're clear about that, and we'll see how that goes.
People grilling and stuff up there.
Because Disney World, I know Disney Springs is open, as well as some.
So fucking ridiculous.
The Disney Vacation Club villas and all of the different resorts are open, from what I understand as well. So some resorts are open at Disney World.
Okay.
So I mean, like at Disney World, it's all a go, but I mean, no.
Yeah, no. I'm a loss for words. I have nothing else to say. Hey, you guys?
I do. Should tell the audience what we're going to be talking about next week, because something big's dropping this week on Disney Plus.
Oh, yes. Yes. It is going to be the podcast where it happens. That's a subtle reference of what we're going to be talking about, because next week, baby, Hamilton all the way. Like, you pick and choose your battles. We lost in the Heights, but we got Hamilton.
And not just Hamilton, but doing what Disney Plus does best. They're going to whip up a documentary also about Hamilton itself.
I've already seen one. There was like this random like documentary on Hamilton on like Amazon Prime or something. I don't know where the fuck I saw it, and I sat through like 2-3 hours of it. I was so happy.
it okay. Over or under 50% that Disney Plus is gonna crash on June 3rd.
Oh, better freaking not. Cause
I mean, knock on wood, of course.
We should not underestimate the number of people who are going to sign up to Disney Plus just for Hamilton.
I mean, a lot of people are like, "What Hamilton? What's that?" It's like probably one of the biggest cultural phenomenons within the last few years.
One of the headlines I saw today, because the embargo lifted for the reviews of the movie, better than a front row seat.
Well, yeah.
Now, I mean, yes, but I mean, like, also, I don't care. I wasn't there. I couldn't afford it, so fuck it. I mean, this is the best I'm gonna get. So
totally 100%. I am so happy that this is happening, but come on, like
it is for the stage. It is. I know it is for the stage.
Yeah. But this is great. We finally get to watch Hamilton, Moreno.
I'd seen a lot of like clips, like to the point where I kind of thought that I had maybe seen the whole thing, but that Satisfied clip that came out yesterday, I think, I had never seen that before, and I was like, oh my god.
It was like, holy shit, we're getting it. Lynn said that, you know, if you're unhappy with the censored version, you could sync the album with the thing, and like honestly, like this is such a good magical thing, because like what screams theta, you know, and it's good stuff. I'm looking forward to it, and like I listened to the album in its entirety like 3 times. Only 3 times, because like once I start the first song, I have to like sit down and pay attention to the whole thing to like fully enjoy it. I don't want to do it injustice by having it as background noise. I have to like listen.
I did that one time. I used to work
Injust.
What?
Come on, it's a soundtrack. What, you don't want to disrespect it by only having it as white noise?
Because it's that good. It's that good.
Because it throws out so much information at you. Like, that's why.
It's pretty much the story.
Yeah. And it's going so fast that you're just kind of like, wait, what? But I can't even remember how, it was like maybe like 4 years ago. I don't even know. But I had a job where I sat in like a ticket booth for like 9 hours and just waited for people to come up to me, and I literally watched like all of Rick and Morty. I watched like 3 series. So once I like did all of that, I sat down and listened to all of the Hamilton soundtrack with the lyrics on the screen, because I have like a computer on there, and I could like go on Netflix on there and stuff. And like I like researched like a lot of things and like went like line by line like what he was saying, and literally I went like nuts that day.
Like all Hamiltoned out.
Yeah.
It's an incredible story. You find out that like you think that politics is just barely getting ridiculous. No, politics was ridiculous. Just as ridiculous back then as it is now.
Yeah. I mean, you do have to kind of take it with a grain of salt. Like, obviously, this is like a 3-hour show. Like, obviously not everything is included, and he did have to like tweak some things and stuff. But I think overall, like, the message is like does get across, and like, the essence of the characters are still there, I think.
Yeah, and like who these people were, like character studies on like who Alexander Hamilton was, and just like it's this whole ordeal. And you're gonna get that, and I can't wait for you to finally consume I can't wait for you to Hamilton, Alexis. 'Cause
me or her?
No, you, Alexis.
Oh yeah, because I have no exposure to this. Like, I know of the success of this. I know the phenomenon. I know Lin-Manuel Miranda, but
Leslie Odom Jr., Renee Ellsbury. I mean, there's just like so many different things with it that it's just like chef's kiss, and that go on.
Did I ever tell you the story about one of the students with Hamilton?
Oh no, tell me.
No, so this is when we lived in a normal world, or what was close to normal. My previous occupation had me babysitting kids in junior high school.
Pretty much.
And some of them, leave an impression on you. And because I consider myself a pretty laid back person, I usually give them the permission to listen to music while they're doing their work. And I mean, they were coloring that day, all day. So like, I mean, who gives a shit at that point, right? We're talking about 7th grade. So let's be real here. And I'd walk around and make sure they were working on things and everything. This is one kid who was so into Hamilton. He was basically like rapping the entire thing. He seemed overly caffeinated, and I ask him, is he okay? Cause he was so excited. Clearly he was a fanatic. And then he was like very quickly like, no. Yeah. And then I say to him, none of us are. And then I walk away, as I usually do. Very interesting experience there. So I can only imagine those people who have been diehard fanatics of Hamilton for all of these years, and now the whole world, well, those that have Disney Plus, sorry, other countries, they can experience this that is Hamilton.
Also, it kind of opens like the floodgates for like other productions that Disney has done over the years.
Just do Frozen. Just release Frozen. It's already gone. Just do it. Just do it.
Yeah. So okay, back to the announcement. We are doing a review on Hamilton, and we're gonna be watching it and all that stuff. I want to do a watch party with you guys. I want to do a watch party on Thursday.
How does that work?
Well, we sync up the movie and we put it at 0 when we say press play and 1, 2, 3. For us, only us. Just
it's for us. It's not for the okay.
Like
good.
what we did with the
I was like, with the Clone Wars.
Yeah, what we did with the Clone Wars on the the first part of the Mandalore arc, I think.
Mm-hmm.
In the finale. But yeah, like do that. No, I want to fucking like fully enjoy it without like anything like that.
Yeah.
Without having to like record and all that stuff. I mean, it was interesting experience with Clone Wars. But that was like only like 30 minutes.
Yeah,
so we could squeeze that.
3 hours.
Yeah. So we'll do that then. It's gonna be fun. I'm so excited. I'm so excited. It's gonna be the podcast where it happens. I already titled it already. A play on one of the set pieces in the room where it happens. So yeah, so Hamilton is coming out, and then also later to celebrate the triumphant debut of Princess Tiana, we're also planning a Princess and the Frog audio commentary. So keep your ears.
We're gonna go down. We're gonna take you down. We're gonna take you down. Oh my god!
Are you ready?
So much. Yeah.
We're gonna have a fun time. It's gonna be fun. We're gonna have fun. Sorry for the lack of content, but alas, business as usual has gone in the way.
I mean, there's also been a lack of Disney news. Let's be real.
Yeah. So anyway, I've been brushing up on Disney War. I want to jump back on that thing again.
Mm-hmm.
So we'll get to that when we get to that. But anyway, final thoughts, Alexis's, on anything that we discussed previously.
Happy 4th. Don't go out.
Even though people are.
Wear your masks.
Ditto. So, everyone, if you liked what you heard here, and if you did, you could check us out everywhere you listen to podcasts. I'm still working on the kinks because it takes a long time for certain sites to approve podcasts, but I'm still working on getting TuneIn and Stitcher approved for the transfer. But as of now, if you're still listening to this, we are no longer on Wooshka. We are now on Castbox.fm. So that's the permanent home for everything Red Spotlight Entertainment. That includes Fantasy Fair, Bond and Beyond, To the Table, and the Red Spotlight Entertainment podcast. And if you're already subscribed on Apple Podcasts and Spotify, you don't have to worry about it, because all I had to do was just update the feed and that was it. So if you're subscribed to there, you're already there. So yeah, check us out everywhere you listen to podcasts, right there. Final thing I have to say. How do I sign off this podcast? Oh, yeah. Stay magical.